but this is a letter to what has become of this whole country that we call Australia. And like I said, there's a lot of it missing because we don't have an hour to listen to me talk about the whole thing, but it's called Australia. Australia, there's an unspoken rule you try to teach me. Don't be Aboriginal. Be something diluted, something easier to digest, and something more acceptable. Be anything but Aboriginal. You demand I fit in, blend in, and wear a label that you can embrace like Australian. You want your name to obliterate my customs, my story, and my identity. You say that to be Aboriginal is to carry shame. You paint my culture with your fear, your ignorance, and your prejudice. You want me to fold into your narrative and deny the tenacity of my race. You want to rewrite my continuation in paler shades. You say, be ashamed, but I ask, of what? Of a history that predates your own, of endurance in the face of erasure, of being black and unyielding in a society that demands my silence? I won't apologise for existing as what I am. I'm black, I'm Aboriginal, and I'm fucking unashamed. And you tell me to embrace my chameleon colours, but not as a celebration of my identity. No, you'd rather I wear the washed out hues of assimilation you've chosen for me. Blend in, you say, not as a proud custodian of the oldest living culture, but as a sanitised version of yourself wrapped in a racially colonised label. You say this because you believe my people are gone, blanked out by the tides of history and the cruelty of your colony. You say my societies have vanished as if the heartbeat of our culture no longer resonates in the land and the language. You act as if our histories have been swallowed whole and leaving behind only your version of who I should be. But even as you try to bury it, our culture lives on. It lives in me, it lives in us, and no matter how much you demand conformity, I refuse to let you rewrite who I am. You call it assertiveness until it comes from me. The clout I was taught to emit and the potency inherited through generations suddenly becomes a threat in your eyes. Too aggressive, you say, as if my voice when raised in defiance is too much for your comfort. You want to see my calm side, the side you find appealing, acceptable, and safe. But that calm doesn't exist for your benefit. It's not a mask I wear to make you feel at ease, nor is it an invitation for your approval. My calm isn't a retreat. It's a quiet influence rooted in my closeness to who I am and where I come from. You want me to be soft, to yield, and to suppress the fire you deem too much. But why should I? My assertiveness is not aggression, it's survival. It's the symbol of my birth rising with me every time I stand tall. It's the refusal to shrink myself to fit your narrow expectations. So no, you don't get to enjoy the parts of me you find convenient while rejecting the courage that defines me. I am fire and calm, defiance and grace, and I won't apologise for any of it. Australia. Speak English, you tell me. It's a command dressed as practicality and a subtle dismissal of the tongues that once repleted this land with vitality. Vote, you urge, as if participating in your systems could repress the fact that your systems were never built for me. And then comes the backhanded revelation, I didn't know your language was still alive. The ignorance in your surprise, it does cut deep, and you don't see the influence of what's been taken nor the fragments we hold on to, trying to keep our tongues from slipping into silence. But listen, I am Nyalgari, a man of salt water, a man of the Bardi Jawi. I resonate the stories, the wisdom and the heart of my lineage, even though you tried to strip them from me before I even had a chance to hold them. You look at me and see an opportunity for a voice lost and a leader silenced, but you don't see what burns within me. I stand for identity. I stand for reconnecting the threads of who we are, even when those threads were deliberately severed. My philology is growing in ways you cannot understand, and no matter how much you demand we conform, we are still here, still speaking in ways you cannot hear. Australia. I was taught that capitalism works and opposition doesn't. You call it progress, as if standing silent and compliant is the only way forward. You say protesting is primitive. Speaking up is unsophisticated. You cut down the brawn of defiance, and frame it as something lesser and unworthy of your world. Your recitations ring hollow when I look at the symbols engraved into my skin. These marks are history, identity, and instruction. They reflect my descendants' whispers throughout years, reminding me to listen, act, and speak with care. They are a guide to living in harmony with others, with the land, and with myself. To you, these symbols are unprofessional and unattractive. You see my heritage as something to be covered, hidden, and wiped out. Your vision of success leaves no room for what makes me who I am. You want me to wear your uniform, strip me of everything that connects me to the past and grounds me in the present. But hey, I know better. These symbols, this skin, and this history are not barriers, they're bridges and a proof of survival, of thriving and amplifying what you've tried to silence. And I refuse to trade authenticity for approval, sorry. I will listen, I will act, I will speak, and I will pay tribute to the teachings you've tried to kill. In this strange and bitter irony, it's popular to mimic my black brothers and sisters. You don't want the fullness of our existence, just the parts you can wear like costumes. You embrace brown skin when it's painted over pastiness and strip it of the struggle and history that comes with it. You imitate the curves that the earth gifted my mothers. You imitate them with irreverence and a shallow homage to fertility and beauty without understanding the depth of what you're borrowing. It's a hollow echo of something sacred, and what you take is cultural and spiritual. You pick and choose what's convenient and trendy, and leave behind the meaning of black in a government that still works to overlook and erase us. You borrow without acknowledgement, imitate without respect, and celebrate the surface while ignoring the soul. You extend your judgment to our kids, our children, so our generations to come will inherit the same disgusting disdain. You stole us away and threw us to the church and called it care. You stripped us of our genetic obligations and laws and left our hollowed out remains as trophies of your imperialism. You mined the wealth of our land and the sacred parts of our substance. You carve into my home in the name of conquest. But hey, we survive in a colony that never tried to make space for us. And if you ever did anything responsible and accountable in this life, Australia, it was this. You made my white father, who helped create me. Because now I can tell you that colonisation still exists, but so do we. Everything we reverberate is a testament to our fortitude. We resist, we reclaim. We refuse to accept your version of who we are, and every act of dismantling your colony is a rebuilding of what you tried to destroy. Australia, I don't want human rights you offer, wrapped in bureaucracy and conditional acceptance. I don't need your proclamations of fairness. I don't need you to tell me I have rights as if they were yours to give in the first place. I don't want acts or policies created to grant me permission to exist on this land. This land is mine and it's ours in ways no document or government can define. My relationship with it isn't something you can legislate or validate. What I want is what was always ours, the freedom and the freedom to be. What I want is for you to stop pretending that your acknowledgement is the foundation of our presence. We have always been here, and we will always be here with or without your permission. I need responsibility, and I need your accountability. Fuck your pity, your excuses, and your hollow gestures. I need your commitment to protect this land that gave me these eyes, this skin, and this soul. The land that wrought who I am and who we are as a nation of many nations. Protect our identities, protect what remains and what survives despite everything you've done to erase it. Protect our language, our languages, the wisdom, our sciences, and the custodianships that still breathe through this land. Recognize what we still have and what you could not destroy. Let this be the end of your poxy denial, your apathy, and your erasure, and there is no future without us. Thank you.